Many of us live day to day unaware that we're caught in a cycle that quietly shapes our reality. This cycle isn't something loud or obvious, and it doesn't come with flashing warning signs. It's subtle, silent, and deeply familiar. So familiar, in fact, that we don't even realize it's running our lives. It begins with something we rarely question: our beliefs. These are the ideas and impressions we've picked up from childhood, from society, from our past experiences. Some of them came from our parents, others from the media, and many were absorbed simply by watching the world around us. Over time, they become part of the lens through which we see everything. The tricky thing is, most of these beliefs aren't even true, but because we've held on to them for so long, they feel like facts. Beliefs are not just thoughts we repeat. They shape the very energy we live in. For example, someone who believes that life is always hard or that they're not worthy of good things will unconsciously carry that belief into every situation. These beliefs create an invisible foundation for how we think, feel, and act. They work in the background like software that keeps running without us ever needing to press a button. When something happens, our brain refers to those beliefs first. From them come automatic thoughts, the ones that pop up uninvited. These thoughts may sound like, I can't do this, or this is going to go wrong, or why would anyone care about me? They arrive without warning and without effort because they've been rehearsed internally for years. Thoughts, however, don't just stay in the mind. They create feelings in the body. When you think a fearful or negative thought, your body reacts almost instantly. Your chest might tighten, your breath might shorten, your stomach may not. That thought becomes a feeling: anxiety, dread, sadness, anger. Emotions aren't just random reactions, they are energetic signals. They have their own frequency, and when we feel something strongly, our whole being starts to radiate that emotion. This is what's meant by vibration. It's the overall energy you give off, and it comes from the mix of what you believe, think, and feel. Now here's where it gets interesting. The energy we emit, the vibration we hold, is not just something internal. It interacts with the world around us. Like a magnet, it pulls in people, situations, and events that match the frequency we're vibrating on. If someone carries the deep belief that love is painful or difficult, they'll often find themselves in relationships that reflect that belief. If someone believes they'll never have enough money, no matter how much they work or how many affirmations they say, financial instability will keep showing up. This isn't a punishment, it's a reflection. The world reflects what's happening inside us, even if we're not fully aware of it. Every time this happens, when our outer world mirrors our inner belief, the loop gets tighter. We start thinking, I knew it. Life is hard. I never catch a break. Nothing ever works out for me. This is how the cycle feeds itself. The belief gets stronger, the thoughts more persistent, the emotions more intense, and the vibration even heavier. Life then responds to this vibration, confirming our beliefs again and again, locking us into a pattern that feels inescapable. It becomes our normal. And because it's so normal, we don't even stop to question it. This whole process runs almost entirely on autopilot. You wake up in the morning, and before you've even had a conscious thought, the cycle is already spinning. That old belief system is alive and well, feeding the same thoughts and emotions as the day before. And it goes unnoticed, not because you're careless, but because it feels familiar. We tend to overlook the familiar. It becomes like background music, always playing but never really heard. But even silent music has power. It sets the mood. It influences how we feel and behave, and without realizing it, that background vibration is shaping our entire reality. Here's the part that most people don't see. Even when we try to change, when we set goals, speak affirmations, or imagine a better life, we're often doing it from the surface. We use our minds to say positive things, But underneath, the same old vibration is still active. The deeper beliefs and emotional patterns haven't changed. So even if we want something better, we keep getting pulled back into the same old reality. It's not because we're weak or not trying hard enough. It's because we're trying to build a new life on top of an old foundation. And that foundation isn't strong. It's made of fear, doubt, and unresolved emotion. This can be incredibly frustrating. Maybe you've worked hard to improve your life. Maybe you've read the books, listened to the podcasts, said the affirmations. You've put in the effort. And for a while, things start to look better. But then, out of nowhere, you find yourself back in the same struggles. It feels like something invisible keeps pulling you backward, as if there's a limit you just can't get past. That limit isn't in the world, it's in your vibration. And the truth is, your vibration doesn't respond to what you say or wish for. It responds to what you deeply believe and what you consistently feel. You can tell yourself every day that you want to be happy, healthy, and successful. But if deep down you're still holding on to fear, guilt, insecurity, or resentment, that's what your energy is actually broadcasting. Life doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are, energetically. It's like tuning a radio. You can want to hear classical music, but if your dial is set to heavy metal, you'll get static, noise, or the wrong station entirely. That's how our inner world works. You have to tune your vibration to match what you want, not just think about it. When your thoughts and your energy are out of sync, it creates inner conflict. Your mind says, I'm ready to succeed. But your energy says, I'm afraid of what success might mean. Your mind says, I deserve love. But your vibration says, I'm not good enough. This misalignment is why we often sabotage ourselves without knowing why. We take 2 steps forward, then slide back again. It's not because we're broken. It's because we're trying to grow something new in soil that hasn't been cleaned or nourished. Imagine trying to plant a fruit tree in toxic soil. You can water it, protect it, and care for it daily. But if the roots can't take hold, the tree won't grow. In the same way, your desires are like seeds. They need a healthy inner environment to thrive. That means working with the beliefs, emotions, and patterns that make up your energetic soil. Without this, your efforts to change will keep hitting invisible walls. One clear example is someone trying to attract financial abundance. They might work hard, take classes, follow all the expert advice, and even repeat positive affirmations. But if they're still carrying a deep belief that money is scarce, or that wealthy people are greedy, or that they don't deserve wealth, that inner conflict blocks the flow. Those beliefs create fear, guilt, or anxiety around money. That emotional energy sends out a signal of scarcity, and life reflects that back. The person keeps struggling, not because they're not trying, but because their vibration is still tuned to lack. This is where the real work begins, not on the surface, but deep within. It's not enough to wish for better. It's not enough to think positively once in a while. You have to go inside and start clearing out the beliefs and emotions that are shaping your vibration. That means looking honestly at what you've been carrying for years. It means feeling emotions you may have pushed down. It means giving yourself permission to release what no longer serves you. This isn't quick or easy, but it is powerful. And here's something most people don't expect. Even physical illness can be tied to vibration. It's not just about germs or genes. Many spiritual traditions and modern mind-body sciences now agree. Our emotional and mental states can affect the health of our body. When you carry heavy emotions like chronic fear, resentment, or sadness for a long time, it creates a kind of energetic congestion. That energy builds up and eventually shows up in the body. First, it might be small, fatigue, tension, or insomnia. But if the vibration remains, it can lead to bigger issues like chronic illness or inflammation. That doesn't mean you chose to get sick or that it's your fault. It means there's a deeper energetic process happening that you can begin to understand and shift. Just like turning a radio dial, you can shift your inner frequency. The more you release dense emotions and nourish yourself with peace, gratitude, and self-worth, the more your energetic field becomes balanced and your body responds. Some people seem to get sick more often or struggle more than others. Certain places, relationships, or periods of life feel heavier, more draining. None of this is random. It's all connected to the frequency we're vibrating at. And that frequency can be changed, not by forcing it, but by becoming aware of it and learning how to work with it. Real transformation doesn't come from trying harder on the outside. It comes from shifting the energy on the inside. The moment you start to see the loop, to notice the beliefs, to feel the emotions you've been avoiding, that's when things begin to change. Awareness is the doorway. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And that's when the old system starts to lose power. You are not a victim of your life. You are not stuck forever. But real change requires going deeper than thoughts or wishes. It means clearing out the old energy that's keeping you in the same place and choosing again and again to build a new vibration from the inside out. This is where your power truly lies. And once you tune into that, your whole reality can begin to shift. Most people don't realize they're living inside an invisible loop. This loop isn't something external like a routine or a job. It's something much deeper. It's a mental and emotional pattern that runs silently in the background, shaping how you think, feel, and experience life. You wake up, go about your day, make decisions, react to things, and all the while, this hidden cycle is playing out. You don't notice it because it feels so familiar. But it's there, and it's keeping you stuck in the same place. The loop begins with beliefs. These are not just conscious ideas or opinions you've picked up. They're deeper than that. Beliefs are like the foundation of your internal world, and many of them were passed down to you or absorbed through experiences when you were too young to question anything. Maybe you grew up hearing that money is hard to earn, or that people can't be trusted, or that you have to struggle to be loved. Over time, these ideas sink in so deeply that they become the lens through which you see everything. You stop noticing them, yet they keep shaping your world. A belief isn't just a thought, it's more like an energetic blueprint. It gives rise to a pattern of thinking that runs automatically, without you having to do anything. From a belief like, I'm not good enough, 1,000 different thoughts can be born. Thoughts like, I'll never succeed, or no one really cares, or why even try? These thoughts pop into your mind again and again, not because you're choosing them, but because they're connected to that core belief that's running the show. Thoughts, in turn, create emotions. And those emotions are not just fleeting moods, they're energy, too. When you think something negative or fearful, your body responds. You might feel anxious, tense, angry, or drained. That emotional state creates a certain energetic frequency in you, whether you realize it or not. It's like you're constantly transmitting a signal out into the world, and that signal is built from your beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. The really strange part is that this vibration, this emotional and energetic frequency, doesn't just stay inside you. It starts to shape your outer reality. Life begins to mirror back to you the very energy you're sending out. So, if deep down you believe you're not lovable, you'll tend to attract people or situations that confirm that belief. You might find yourself in relationships where you feel rejected or unworthy, even though you desperately want connection. If you carry a belief that money is always scarce, you'll keep running into financial struggles. Not because you don't work hard, but because your energetic field is stuck in scarcity, and reality keeps reflecting that back. This is the heart of the loop. You hold a belief, that belief generates thoughts, the thoughts stir up emotions, the emotions form your vibration, and your vibration creates situations that reinforce the original belief. Each time this happens, the belief gets stronger, the thoughts get louder, the emotions hit harder, the reality gets more limiting, and before you know it, you're caught in a closed circle that feels impossible to escape. What makes this even trickier is that the whole cycle operates on autopilot. You don't have to think consciously about your beliefs or focus on negative thoughts for them to be working. They're already running in the background like a silent operating system. You wake up and the cycle is already active. And because it's been there for so long, it doesn't feel unusual. It feels normal. It feels like just how life is. You don't question it because it's all you've ever known. Think of it like background music playing softly in your life all the time. You've heard it for so long that you don't even hear it anymore, but it's still setting the emotional tone of your day. It's still influencing how you act, how you feel, and what choices you make. That's how powerful this internal cycle is. It decides what opportunities you notice, how you handle challenges, how you see yourself, and how others respond to you. Sometimes people get inspired to make a change. They read a book, watch a video, or attend a workshop and decide to think more positively or start visualizing success. Maybe they make affirmations or set new goals. That's a great start, but very often those changes don't last. Why? Because they're only working at the surface. They're trying to change the thoughts or behaviors, but the core belief system, the deeper emotional vibration, is still the same. And that's the part with the real power. You might say to yourself every day, I deserve happiness. But if deep inside you still carry shame, guilt, or fear, your vibration will reflect that, not the words. You might declare, I am attracting abundance. But if your emotional energy is still rooted in fear of lack, your life will keep echoing scarcity. The truth is, life doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you consistently feel and believe. That's a hard pill to swallow, but it's also freeing. Because once you realize this, you stop blaming luck or fate. You see that you're not powerless, you're just operating from old, unseen programming. And that means you can start to change it. Change doesn't happen just by wishing for it or forcing new habits. It starts with awareness. You have to begin noticing the beliefs that are running the show. Ask yourself where they came from, whether they're actually true, and what they've cost you. Often, these beliefs were formed during painful moments or passed down by people who were struggling themselves. They're not facts. They're just old emotional conclusions that you've never questioned. And then comes the emotional part, because beliefs are glued in place by feelings. You can't just think your way out of a belief that's charged with years of pain or fear. You have to feel through it. That might mean sitting with discomfort, processing old memories, crying, journaling, or seeking support. As you start to release those stuck emotions, the belief begins to loosen. Your energy shifts. Your vibration becomes lighter, clearer. And now, life can start to reflect something new. Let's bring this down to earth. Imagine someone wants to attract financial abundance. They start saying affirmations like, I am wealthy, and take steps to earn more money. But deep down, they still believe money is dangerous or that they don't deserve to have more than others. Maybe they feel guilty asking for what they're worth, or they feel afraid that success will isolate them. Those deep emotions generate a signal of conflict. On the surface, they're saying yes, but energetically, they're still saying no. So, despite their efforts, they keep finding themselves back at square one, facing the same struggles over and over again. This doesn't mean they're doing something wrong. It just means the foundation needs cleaning. You can't build a new life on top of an old, toxic belief system. It's like trying to plant a beautiful tree in poisoned soil. The roots won't take hold, no matter how much you water it. You have to heal the soil first, heal the energy you're carrying, so that new growth can actually last. This same cycle shows up with health. Illnesses often seem to appear suddenly as if they came out of nowhere, but in many cases, they are the physical result of long-term emotional patterns. Chronic stress, anger, fear, grief, these emotions don't just vanish. They live in the body. They disturb the natural flow of energy. Over time, that energetic imbalance begins to affect the physical body, first with subtle symptoms like fatigue, tension, or trouble sleeping. Later, it may turn into chronic pain, inflammation, or illness. The body becomes the mirror of the inner world. That doesn't mean you're to blame for being sick. It means your energy plays a role and you have some power to shift it. When you start to process and release emotional heaviness, when you clear the inner static, you give your body more space to heal. You stop feeding the frequencies that keep you stuck in survival mode. None of this is about perfection. It's not about being happy all the time or never having a negative thought. It's about becoming conscious of the patterns that have been running your life. It's about learning how to work with your inner world instead of against it. That awareness is the beginning of true transformation. So, if you've ever wondered why it feels like you're always back at square one, despite your best efforts, this might be why. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not failing. You've just been operating from an old cycle that's been hidden in plain sight. The good news is, the moment you start to see it, the moment you start to feel it, things can begin to shift. And once your energy begins to change, everything else will follow. Because in the end, life doesn't respond to what you hope for or what you force. It responds to who you are, deep down, and the frequency you're living from every single day. You're living your life, doing your best, trying to move forward, but something always seems to hold you back. You may not be able to name it clearly, but you feel it. It's like running in place. You push and try and hope, but still, you end up in the same spot, facing the same frustrations, the same problems, the same patterns. What you don't realize is that there's an invisible cycle running in the background of your mind and emotions, shaping your life from the inside out. It's so subtle and familiar that you don't notice it anymore, but it's there, every single day, dictating your thoughts, emotions, actions, and even the outcomes you experience. This cycle begins with something you probably don't think much about: your beliefs. These are not just ideas you consciously think about, they're deeply rooted stories you've absorbed since childhood. They come from your parents, teachers, culture, religion, and life experiences. Over time, these beliefs become so automatic and embedded in your subconscious that you don't question them anymore. You simply assume that's how life is. If you were raised hearing that money is always hard to come by, or that you have to struggle to be loved, those ideas sink in and shape how you see the world. They become filters through which you interpret everything. You no longer ask, is this belief true? Because it just feels like reality. But beliefs don't just sit quietly in your mind. They act like scripts for your internal dialogue. They give rise to daily thoughts, those automatic, often negative whispers in your mind. You don't wake up choosing to think, I'm not good enough, or this is going to fail, but the thoughts show up anyway. They're echoes of those hidden beliefs. The belief that you're not worthy leads to thoughts like, why even try? Or they probably don't like me. And because you've thought these things so often, they feel normal. You think they're just who you are, but they're not. They're habits, mental habits created by the beliefs you carry. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Thoughts don't exist in isolation. Each thought produces an emotional response in your body. When you think something fearful, your body reacts as if the fear is real, because to your nervous system, it is. The thought, I'm going to mess this up, doesn't just stay in your mind. It causes anxiety in your chest, tightness in your stomach, restlessness in your body. These emotions build up, and over time they form your energetic state, your vibration. Whether you realize it or not, you're always radiating energy. You walk into a room and you feel someone's vibe. That's not magic, it's emotional energy, and we all carry it. What most people don't realize is that this vibration, this emotional energy, is what truly shapes your life. The universe doesn't respond to your words, your goals, or even your effort as much as it responds to your energy. You could be repeating affirmations all day, saying, I am successful. But if deep down you feel scared, unworthy, or doubtful, it's that deeper emotional signal that's being broadcast. And that's the signal the world responds to. Your outer reality mirrors your inner world. If you vibrate scarcity, you attract situations that reinforce lack. If you vibrate fear of being abandoned, you'll find yourself in relationships where you feel insecure or unseen. And every time this happens, it confirms your original belief. See, I knew I wasn't enough. And that's how the loop strengthens. The belief creates the thought creates the emotion creates the vibration shapes your reality, and your reality reinforces the original belief. Round and round it goes, and all of it happens without you consciously doing anything. That's why it feels so exhausting, because you're trapped in a cycle you can't see, but still live inside every single day. What's most tricky is that this cycle runs on autopilot. You don't wake up and choose it. It's already running before you even get out of bed. It's like background music that's been playing so long, you don't even notice it anymore. But it's influencing your mood, your thoughts, your decisions. And because it feels familiar, you assume it's just you. But it's not. It's programming. This is why change can feel so hard. You try to think positively, set new goals, make new habits, speak affirmations, but all of that happens at the surface level. Deep down, the old program is still running. It's like trying to paint over cracked walls without fixing the foundation. Eventually, the cracks show up again. You find yourself back in the same situation, wondering why your efforts didn't stick. It's not your fault. You're not broken. You're just working on the wrong level. Real change doesn't happen by force, it happens by awareness. The moment you start to see the loop is the moment it begins to lose its power. Awareness is like light. Once you notice something clearly, you can't unsee it. You start to hear the beliefs. You notice the thoughts. You feel the emotions with more clarity. That self-awareness creates space between you and the pattern, and in that space, transformation becomes possible. But there's more. Even when people become aware, they still struggle. Why? Because there's often a deeper, hidden resistance. You might want success, love, health, or abundance, but something inside keeps blocking it. That's because your vibration doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you believe and feel consistently. You could say, I want to be healthy, but if you carry guilt, resentment, or hopelessness, those emotions are the true signal. And the universe responds to that, not the words, not the wish. It's like trying to tune a radio to a happy music station, but your internal frequency is still set to static and noise. You can say, I want peace, but if your energy is full of anxiety and unresolved trauma, you'll keep attracting situations that match the chaos inside. Life doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you vibrate. This can be a tough truth to face because it means your current life situation isn't just about what's happened to you. It's also about what you've been unconsciously carrying. But it's also incredibly empowering because it means you're not helpless. You can change your frequency. You can shift your energy. And when you do, everything around you begins to change too. Let's bring it down to earth with a real-world example. Imagine someone wants financial abundance. They study wealth, read the right books, take courses, and even repeat affirmations like, I am rich. But deep down, they carry old beliefs. Money is dangerous, or I'm not the kind of person who gets rich. These beliefs create emotions like fear, guilt, and doubt when they think about wealth. Those emotions create a vibration of scarcity. And even though they're doing all the right things on the outside, their inner world is still aligned with lack. So what happens? Their efforts don't lead to success. They self-sabotage, miss opportunities, or attract financial setbacks. It feels like bad luck, but it's really just their vibration pulling in what matches it. This is why just wanting isn't enough. You have to go deeper. You have to clear the root beliefs. You have to process the emotions you've been carrying for years, maybe decades. That's the real work. It's not always glamorous. It's not something you can fake with a vision board, but it's the only thing that truly changes your life. Once your inner world shifts, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Now, let's go even further. This pattern doesn't just affect your emotions and experiences, it affects your body too. Illnesses don't come out of nowhere. They don't just happen. They are often the result of energy that's been blocked or distorted over time. Your body is a mirror of your vibration. Chronic stress, unprocessed trauma, long-term resentment, deep sadness, all of these emotions live in your body. They create tension, inflammation, and imbalance. And if they stay long enough, they manifest as physical symptoms. This isn't just a spiritual idea, it's backed by science. The mind and body are deeply connected. Your thoughts influence your emotions influence your hormones affect your immune system, digestion, and overall health. Everything is connected. So when you keep holding on to heavy emotions, it's like tuning your body to a frequency that attracts disease. That doesn't mean you're to blame. It means you have more power than you realize. You can start tuning into a different frequency by releasing the emotions and shifting the beliefs that created them. Think of your body like a radio station. You can change what you're listening to by adjusting the dial. The same goes for your energy. You can shift what you attract by changing what you feel and believe deep inside. The people who seem to heal, to grow, to attract better things into their lives, many of them didn't just try harder. They aligned their energy. They cleared their emotional blocks. They changed their beliefs. And in doing so, they started vibrating at a new frequency, and life responded. You're not stuck because you're unlucky or unworthy. You're stuck because an old pattern is still playing. But now that you see it, you have the power to change it. Awareness is the first step. Feeling is the second. And the third is alignment, choosing to shift, even slowly, into a new state of being. This isn't about perfection. It's about honesty. Pay attention to what you're carrying inside, because that's what life is responding to. And when you shift your inner world, you'll notice something amazing. Things on the outside begin to shift too. People treat you differently. New opportunities appear. Old patterns lose their grip. Life becomes lighter, more flowing. You don't have to force it anymore, because now you're in tune. Most people don't realize they're stuck. They wake up every morning, go through their routine, handle their responsibilities, and carry on with their lives. But underneath it all, there's something deeper happening. There's an invisible pattern running in the background, something emotional and mental that keeps repeating itself like a loop. You can't see it, but you can feel it when your life seems to move in circles, when the same struggles keep coming back, no matter how hard you try to change. This loop begins with the beliefs you've picked up over the years, beliefs you didn't choose consciously. You absorbed them from your parents, your culture, your environment, or even from painful experiences. Over time, these beliefs became part of you. They feel so natural, you don't question them anymore. You might not even know they exist, but they're quietly shaping your view of the world. A belief is more than just a thought. It's like a lens over your eyes, filtering how you see everything. For example, if deep down you believe that life is always hard, or that you're not worthy of love, or that good things never last, then your mind and emotions will constantly act in ways that reflect those ideas. These beliefs don't just stay silent. They generate thoughts, those little voices in your head that seem to pop up on their own. You don't ask for them, but they show up anyway. You make a mistake and immediately think, see, I knew I'd mess this up. You try something new and hear, this probably won't work. These thoughts feel automatic, like they're just part of who you are. But really, they're being fueled by the deeper beliefs you've carried for years. The thought is just the echo of that old belief playing itself out again. And when those thoughts arise, they trigger emotions. When you think something fearful, your body reacts. Your chest tightens. Your stomach turns. You feel anxious, tense, frustrated, sad. These emotions aren't random, and they're not just feelings. They create a kind of inner atmosphere, a vibration or energy that surrounds you. This energy doesn't stay inside you. It radiates out. It becomes part of your field, your presence, your mood, and yes, even your reality. Here's where things get even more interesting. The world around you starts to respond to that energy. The vibration you're carrying attracts experiences that match it. If you're vibrating fear, you tend to experience more situations that make you feel afraid. If you're vibrating lack, you seem to keep facing situations of scarcity. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. You might want love, success, happiness, and peace. But if your internal vibration is shaped by old wounds, limiting beliefs, and unprocessed emotions, then life ends up reflecting that back to you, not your conscious desires. This becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. You carry a belief, which creates negative thoughts, which generate uncomfortable emotions, which then radiate an energy that attracts more situations to confirm the original belief. If you believe you're unworthy, life will keep handing you situations where you feel rejected or unseen. And every time that happens, it strengthens the original belief, making the cycle even tighter. Over time, this becomes your norm, your reality. And because it's so familiar, you stop noticing it. It feels like just life, when really, it's the same old loop repeating itself under a different disguise. Most of this happens without you even realizing. You're not sitting there consciously thinking negative thoughts or choosing to feel bad. It's already running on autopilot, like background music that's always playing, so soft and constant that you don't hear it anymore. But it's there, quietly shaping your mood, your choices, your habits, and your experiences. You start to believe this is just who you are or how life works, when really, you're just caught in a deep inner pattern. You've probably tried to change at some point. Maybe you've said positive affirmations, set goals, visualized a better life. You've read books, listened to advice, tried new routines. And yet, somehow, weeks or months later, you find yourself back where you started. The same struggles, the same doubts, the same feelings. You wonder why it didn't work. Maybe you think you didn't try hard enough. Maybe you blame yourself. But the truth is, your effort wasn't the problem. The real issue is that the surface of your life doesn't change until the roots do. Change that only touches your conscious mind, your thoughts, your willpower, your intentions, is often too shallow to create lasting transformation. If the deeper vibrational pattern stays the same, you'll always get pulled back into the old cycle. It's like trying to build a new house on top of a cracked foundation. No matter how well you decorate it, eventually the cracks will show again. Real change happens when you go deeper, when you become aware of the beliefs and emotional energies that are quietly driving your life. There's another layer to this that many people miss. Even when you really want something, success, love, health, peace, if the energy you carry is still rooted in fear, doubt, or guilt, then that's the signal you're actually sending out. You might say you want to thrive, but deep down, Your vibration says, I don't believe I can. Your mind might repeat, I deserve happiness, but your energy might still carry the old frequency of shame or unworthiness. And the universe responds to your vibration, not just your words. This creates inner conflict. You feel like you're doing all the right things, but something always seems to block the results. You move forward a little, then something sabotages the progress. That's not weakness or failure. It's the old vibrational field pulling you back. It's like a magnet, and unless you change the magnet, you'll keep attracting the same kind of metal. Think of yourself as a radio. You can say all day long that you want to tune into joy or abundance, but if your dial is still set to a frequency of fear or lack, that's what you'll pick up. Life answers the frequency you emit, not the words you say. That might sound frustrating at first, but it's actually empowering because it means you're not powerless. You have the ability to change the station. But to do that, you have to go to the root of the signal, your beliefs and your emotions. This is where most people get stuck. They try to change by force or motivation, pushing themselves to think positive, to hustle harder, to act confident. But if they haven't dealt with the underlying beliefs that say, I'm not enough or I don't deserve it, then the vibration doesn't change. You can repeat mantras all day long, but if they don't feel true inside you, the energy stays the same. Let's take a practical example. Imagine someone who wants to be financially successful. They read all the books, take the courses, repeat affirmations like, I am wealthy and abundant. But inside, they carry an old belief like, money is bad, or rich people are selfish, or I'll never have enough. Maybe that belief came from family struggles, or cultural messages, or past failures. That belief triggers emotions like fear of success, guilt for wanting more, or anxiety about managing money. Those emotions send out a vibration of scarcity, and life keeps delivering situations that reflect that.